Argentina, a land of breathtaking contrasts and timeless beauty. Stretching from the frozen glaciers of the far south to the subtropical jungles of the north, this vast South American country is one of the most diverse and fascinating destinations on Earth. Here, nature speaks in grand gestures. Towering peaks of the Andes cradle tranquil valleys, while endless plains known as the Pampas roll toward the horizon. In the south, Patagonia offers raw, untamed landscapes where the wind whispers secrets of ancient ice and stone. But Argentina is not only about its landscapes. It is a country deeply shaped by history, by culture, and by passion. In the lively streets of Buenos Aires, the rhythm of tango echoes through the air, a dance born from longing and fire. Cafes buzz with voices and the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee, while murals tell the stories of struggle, identity, and art. The spirit of Argentina lives in its people, warm, resilient, and proud. Generations of immigrants have woven their roots into this land, bringing with them traditions, music, and flavors from across the world. Deep in the lush rainforest of northeastern Argentina, where the borders of Argentina, Brazil, and Paraguay meet, a natural wonder roars to life. This is Iguazú Falls, one of the most powerful and awe-inspiring waterfall systems on the planet. Here, in the heart of the subtropical jungle, hundreds of cascades stretch across a vast horseshoe-shaped cliff. The sound is deafening, like thunder rising from the earth. The water tumbles down with unstoppable force, carving its path through ancient rock, feeding the Iguazú River that flows far below. The surrounding rainforest, dense and alive, frames the falls in vibrant green. Mist rises into the canopy, nourishing a living world of rare plants, colorful butterflies, and exotic birds. Howler monkeys call from the treetops, and toucans flash their bright beaks through the branches. At the heart of the falls lies the Devil's Throat, a massive U-shaped chasm where the water plunges into a deep, swirling cauldron of spray. It is a place that feels both sacred and wild, where the raw power of nature becomes something you can feel in your chest. In the far south of Argentina, deep within the icy heart of Patagonia, a giant of ice stands in silent majesty. This is the Perito Moreno Glacier, one of the few glaciers on Earth that is still growing. It stretches like a frozen river, more than 18 miles long, flowing slowly from the southern Patagonian icefield into the turquoise waters of Lake Argentino. Its jagged surface is a world of shimmering blues and deep cracks where the light shifts and dances across the ice like a living sculpture. Standing before it, the scale is hard to grasp. Walls of ice rise over 200 feet above the lake, with even more hidden beneath the surface. And then silence breaks. A thunderous crack echoes through the valley as a chunk of ice the size of a building crashes into the water below. This is a glacier alive with movement, a constant dialogue between time and nature. Surrounding the glacier is Los Glaciares National Park, a protected wilderness of windswept mountains, glacial lakes and wild forests. It is a place where the air feels untouched, and the only sounds are the wind, the birds, and the deep groans of shifting ice. Perito Moreno is more than just a natural monument. In the southern reaches of Patagonia, rising like a jagged crown from the edge of the world, stands Mount Fitz Roy, one of the most iconic and awe-inspiring peaks in Argentina. Its sharp granite spires pierce the sky, surrounded by clouds that move like whispers around its summit. Towering over the small mountain town of El Chaltén, Fitz Roy is both a natural wonder and a symbol of wild beauty. Its ancient name, given by the indigenous Tehuelche people, is Chaltén, meaning smoking mountain for the way its peak is often wrapped in mist. Though not the tallest in the Andes, Mount Fitz Roy is among the most striking. Its steep, dramatic faces and unpredictable weather make it a legendary challenge for climbers from around the world. But even from a distance, its beauty is undeniable. The first light of dawn paints its walls in soft gold and fiery orange, a daily display that feels almost sacred. Surrounding the mountain is a vast wilderness of glacial lakes, alpine meadows, and icy rivers. Trails wind through forests of southern beach, past waterfalls and quiet valleys, leading to viewpoints that reveal the mountain in all its glory. Tucked away in the windswept wilderness of southern Patagonia, El Chaltén is a village that feels like it belongs to another time. Small, quiet, and surrounded by towering peaks, this mountain town is known as the trekking capital of Argentina. Founded only a few decades ago, El Chaltén sits at the foot of Mount Fitz Roy, cradled by valleys, rivers, and glacier-fed lakes. The journey here is long, but the reward is instant, a raw and untamed landscape that stretches endlessly in every direction. Colorful cabins and modest homes line the unpaved streets. The air is fresh and sharp, and the silence is broken only by the wind or the sound of hiking boots on gravel. There are no traffic lights here, no rush. Life moves slowly, in rhythm with nature. From the village, trails lead deep into Los Glaciares National Park. They pass through forests of lenga trees, past crystal-clear streams, and open into vast plains where condors soar overhead. Hikers from around the world come here, drawn by the promise of solitude, challenge, and discovery. But El Chaltén is more than just a gateway to the mountains. It has a soul of its own. At the edge of the world, where the land meets the sea and the sky stretches endlessly, lies Tierra del Fuego, the land of fire. This remote and windswept archipelago marks the southernmost tip of South America, a place where mystery and majesty live side by side. The name was given centuries ago by early explorers who saw fires glowing along the coastline, flames lit by the indigenous Yagan people to warm themselves in the cold. Today, that name still carries a sense of wonder, of stories written in wind and water. The main island, shared between Argentina and Chile, is a land of contrasts. Rugged mountains rise above peat bogs and windswept plains. Deep fjords carve the coastlines, and ancient forests lean into the ever-changing skies. In this wild, southern frontier, nature feels both vast and intimate. On the Argentine side lies the city of Ushuaia, often called the southernmost city in the world. Nestled between the Marcial Mountains and the icy waters of the Beagle Channel, it is a place where ships depart for Antarctica and the wilderness begins just beyond the last street. Tierra del Fuego is shaped by extremes, long summer days filled with endless light and winters where snow and silence rule. Nestled in the foothills of the Andes, surrounded by crystal-clear lakes and snow-capped peaks, lies San Carlos de Bariloche, a town where nature and charm come together in perfect balance. Located in the heart of Argentina's Lake District, Bariloche feels like a postcard brought to life. Its alpine-style architecture, with steep roofs and wooden chalets, gives it the feel of a mountain village in Europe. But the soul of Bariloche is pure Patagonia, wild, vibrant, and unmistakably Argentinian. The town sits on the shores of Lake Nahuel Huapi, a deep glacial lake that stretches like a mirror beneath the mountains. Its waters shift from sapphire blue to silver, depending on the light and the mood of the sky. Around it, forests of cypress and lenga trees breathe with the wind, and winding roads lead to hidden valleys and quiet shores. Bariloche is a place for every season. In summer, the trails fill with hikers, cyclists, and adventurers exploring the wild beauty of Nahuel Huapi National Park. In winter, the mountains come alive with snow, and Cerro Cathedral becomes one of South America's most popular ski destinations. In the southern reaches of Argentine Patagonia lies a land shaped by ice, wind, and time, Parque Nacional Los Glaciares. This vast and protected wilderness is one of Argentina's most extraordinary treasures, a place where ancient glaciers meet jagged peaks and endless sky. Covering over 2 million acres, it is the largest national park in the country and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its name comes from the massive ice fields that feed nearly 50 glaciers, each one a living river of frozen history, slowly carving the land as they move. Here, nature speaks in grand, quiet gestures. The towering face of Perito Moreno Glacier rises above a turquoise lake, creaking and groaning as it slowly advances. Farther north, the sharp silhouettes of Mount Fitz Roy and Cerro Torre pierce the clouds, standing as timeless guardians over a landscape of raw, untouched beauty. But beyond the famous landmarks, the park is a world of deep forests, silent lagoons, and windswept plains. Wildflowers bloom in summer, and in the distance, condors glide effortlessly over the cliffs. Guanacos move across the open land, and the cold rivers run clear from the mountains. This is a place for reflection, for wonder, and for connection. High in the Andean plateau of northwestern Argentina lies a place that feels otherworldly, vast, silent, and shimmering beneath the sun. This is Salinas Grandes, one of the largest salt flats in South America. Stretching across miles of flat white earth, the salt plain reflects the sky like a giant mirror. On clear days, the horizon disappears, and the clouds seem to float between worlds. The landscape is still, surreal, and endlessly wide, a natural canvas where light and silence create their own kind of magic. Formed over thousands of years by the evaporation of ancient lakes, Salinas Grandes is made up of a thick crust of salt that cracks into perfect geometric patterns. It is both beautiful and fragile, a reminder of how time and nature work quietly, shaping the earth in their own slow rhythm. Despite its remote and harsh environment, this land has long been known to the indigenous communities of the region. For centuries, they have harvested salt from these flats, respecting the balance between use and preservation. Even today, workers extract salt by hand, stacking white blocks beneath the open sky in a rhythm passed down through generations. In the far northwest of Argentina, carved between desert hills and time-worn mountains, lies Quebrada de Humahuaca, a valley rich with color, culture, and deep human history. For over 10,000 years, this narrow mountain gorge has been a natural corridor, a trade route, a cultural bridge, and a cradle of civilization. Long before borders or cities, the indigenous peoples of the Andes moved through this land, leaving behind stories etched in stone and tradition. The landscape itself is a living tapestry. Hills rise in bands of red, gold, green, and violet, layers of mineral-rich earth folded by time. Nowhere is this more vivid than in the Hill of Seven Colors near the village of Purmamarca, where the mountain seems to ripple with paintbrush strokes from nature's own palette. Villages along the valley hold centuries of history in their quiet streets. Cobblestone paths lead to adobe homes, ancient chapels, and open plazas where local festivals still echo with music, dance, and devotion. Hand-woven textiles and ceramic crafts fill the markets, each piece telling a story passed from generation to generation. But Quebrada de Humahuaca is more than its scenery. It is a place where tradition lives. In the vast deserts of northwestern Argentina, where wind and silence shape the land, Talampaya National Park rises like a monument carved by time. This otherworldly landscape, etched in red rock and ancient memory, tells a story that began millions of years ago. Towering sandstone cliffs stretch skyward, sculpted into walls, towers, and deep canyons by the slow work of erosion. These formations, colored in deep shades of ochre and rust, seem almost alive, standing like silent guardians over the dry riverbeds below. The cliffs echo with the faint sound of wind, and sometimes with the call of a condor circling high above. Talampaya is more than a natural wonder. It is a geological archive. Fossils found here reveal the presence of creatures that walked the earth long before humans, reptiles, early dinosaurs, and traces of plant life that once covered this arid ground. The park holds layers of Earth's memory, pressed into stone and shadow. Petroglyphs carved by ancient peoples mark the canyon walls, symbols of belief, migration, and survival. These rock drawings, created by indigenous cultures long before written history, connect us to a distant past, a time when this desert was not empty, but full of life and meaning. Along the Atlantic coast of Argentine Patagonia, a rugged arm of land reaches into the sea. This is Península Valdés, a remote and windswept sanctuary where some of the world's most extraordinary marine life gathers each year. Surrounded by the deep blue waters of the Golfo Nuevo and Golfo San Jose, this peninsula is a natural refuge, a place where land and ocean meet in harmony and tension. Here, life unfolds with the rhythm of the tides and the turning of the seasons. From the shores, the sight is unforgettable. Southern right whales glide just beneath the surface, their massive forms rising slowly from the deep. These gentle giants come here each year to breed, calve, and rest in the protected bays. Alongside them, sea lions bask on rocky beaches, elephant seals roar and clash, and orcas patrol the coastline with intelligence and force. Above, the skies are alive with seabirds, petrels, gulls, and cormorants soaring and diving in the ocean winds. On land, guanacos and maras roam the arid steppe, where the earth is dry and open, and the wind carries the scent of salt and sage. Península Valdés is more than a wildlife destination. In the heart of Buenos Aires, where the Riachuelo River once welcomed ships from distant lands, lies a neighborhood unlike any other, La Boca. Bold, vibrant, and full of life, this is a place where color and culture burst from every corner. Boca was born from waves of immigrants, many of them from Italy, who arrived in the late 19th century in search of a new beginning. They brought with them their language, their traditions, and a deep sense of community. What they built here was more than a neighborhood. It was a mosaic of stories, dreams, and resilience. The streets of Boca are alive with color. Walls are painted in bright blues, yellows, reds, and greens, a tradition that began when residents used leftover paint from the shipyards to decorate their homes. The most famous of these is Caminito, a short street that feels like walking through a living canvas, where every wall, every balcony, tells a piece of the neighborhood's history. But Boca is more than just its paint. It is the birthplace of tango, the music, the dance, the soul of the city. On sidewalks and in small plazas, dancers move with passion and grace, their steps echoing the rhythm of a culture born from both struggle and joy. Just a short journey north of Buenos Aires, the city noise fades and the land breaks apart into water. This is the Tigre Delta, a quiet maze of rivers, islands, and winding canals where nature and life move in rhythm with the current. Formed by the slow drift of the Paraná River, the delta is one of the largest in South America. But unlike most deltas, it does not meet the sea. Instead, it flows into the Rio de la Plata, creating a freshwater world that feels entirely its own. Life here is shaped by water. Wooden houses stand on stilts above the riverbanks, painted in soft pastels and surrounded by trees. Boats replace cars, and every dock becomes a front porch. Small markets, floating schools, and even delivery boats pass along the narrow waterways, a quiet, living network of human and natural connection. The air smells of river and wood. Birds nest in the reeds, and dragonflies move just above the surface. In the distance, the hum of an engine or the splash of a paddle blends with the soft call of a heron in flight. Tigre itself, the town at the edge of the delta, is lively and welcoming. In the quiet heart of Buenos Aires, behind high stone walls and wrought iron gates, rests one of the most unique and hauntingly beautiful places in all of Argentina, Recoleta Cemetery. More than just a burial ground, this is a city of the dead. Narrow stone paths weave through rows of ornate mausoleums, each one built like a small cathedral, a silent monument to memory, status, and time. Marble angels keep watch from rooftops, iron doors creak softly with the wind. And the silence here carries a certain weight, not heavy, but reverent. Recoleta Cemetery was established in the early 19th century, and over the decades it became the final resting place for many of Argentina's most influential figures: presidents, writers, generals, scientists, and artists. Among them, the name most spoken is Eva Perón, a symbol of strength and legacy, whose tomb draws quiet crowds each day. But beyond the famous names, each crypt tells its own story. Some are grand and well-tended, with stained glass and polished stone. Others have begun to fade, doors rusted, vines creeping across forgotten corners, beauty slowly merging with decay. In the northwest of Argentina, where desert plains meet painted mountains, there lies a valley of sun, silence, and slow rhythms. This is Cafayate, a small town surrounded by vineyards, red rock canyons, and a deep sense of calm. Cafayate is known for its wines, and the air here carries their story. Warm days, cool nights, and high altitude create a perfect balance for the vines. Among them, a grape found almost nowhere else in the world, Torrontés, flourishes. Light, aromatic, and full of character, it reflects the spirit of the land, bold, bright, and unforgettable. Beyond the vineyards, the land itself becomes the storyteller. The Quebrada de las Conchas, just outside town, is a natural wonder. Wind and time have sculpted the red sandstone into towering cliffs, narrow ravines, and shapes that seem to rise from myth. The amphitheater, the devil's throat, the castles, colors shift with the sun, and silence settles deep between the canyon walls. The town of Cafayate is peaceful and welcoming. Its central plaza is lined with whitewashed walls, shaded arcades, and the soft sounds of daily life. Local artisans offer woven textiles, hand-carved wood, and pottery shaped by tradition. Tucked into the mountains of Argentina's northwest, where ancient trails wind through quiet valleys, lies a village of color, silence, and soul. This is Purmamarca, a place small in size but rich in beauty, tradition, and history. The first thing that draws the eye is the mountain. Rising just beyond the edge of town, the Hill of Seven Colors stands like a painting brought to life. Layers of mineral-rich rock, shaped over millions of years, ripple in shades of red, green, violet, and gold. With every shift of sunlight, the colors seem to breathe. At the foot of this natural wonder, the village of Purmamarca rests in stillness. Adobe houses line narrow, dust-covered streets. The central plaza holds a simple church, built in the 18th century, shaded by a 1,000-year-old carob tree. It is a quiet space, grounded in the rhythm of the land. Local artisans fill the market each day with hand-woven ponchos, colorful blankets, ceramics, and jewelry. These crafts are not souvenirs, they are stories passed from one generation to the next. In the deep silence of northwestern Argentina, far from the noise of cities and roads, stretches a landscape unlike any other. This is Valle de la Luna, the Valley of the Moon, a place where the earth reveals its most ancient secrets in shapes carved by wind, time, and memory. The ground here is dry, cracked, and painted in tones of grey, copper, and ash. Stone figures rise from the desert floor, sculpted not by human hands, but by erosion over millions of years. Towers, mushrooms, spheres, and winding canyons give the valley its name. It feels otherworldly, like a forgotten corner of another planet. But beneath this stark and silent beauty lies something even more extraordinary. Valle de la Luna is one of the most important paleontological sites on Earth. Fossils found here date back over 200 million years to the Triassic period, long before the time of the dinosaurs we know today. Bones, plants, and footprints are held in layers of stone, telling the story of life's earliest chapters. The silence of the valley is complete. There are no trees, no rivers, only the wind and the low call of birds that glide between the stone formations. At the foot of the Andes, where the desert meets snow-capped peaks, lies Mendoza, a land of sun, silence, and vines that stretch toward the mountains. It is a place shaped by water, by patience, and by the deep roots of nature and tradition. Mendoza is Argentina's wine country. With over 1,000 wineries spread across its valleys, it is the heart of Malbec, a grape that found its true voice in this high desert soil. The air is dry, the days are long, and the meltwater from the Andes feeds the land through ancient irrigation canals first dug by the indigenous Huapes people centuries ago. Rows of vines run for miles beneath a ceiling of blue sky. The rhythm of life here follows the harvest, slow, careful, and respectful of the land's gifts. In the quiet of the vineyards, the scent of earth and grape blends with the breeze, and the mountains rise in silent guardianship above it all. But Mendoza is more than wine. It is a city of wide, tree-lined streets, public plazas, and a culture built around gathering and sharing. In cafes, in markets, and around asado fires, people speak with warmth and welcome. There is time here for conversation, for walking, for simply looking up at the mountains and breathing in the dry, clean air. In the southern reaches of the Andes, where the mountains touch the clouds and deep forests hide the sound of time, lies Los Alerces National Park, one of the most pristine and peaceful corners of Argentine Patagonia. This is a land of water and wood. Crystalline lakes stretch between glacier-carved valleys, connected by winding rivers and streams that flow in silence. The air is pure, touched by the scent of moss, pine, and snowmelt. Each ripple in the water reflects the stillness of the sky above. The heart of the park is its ancient forest, where the Alerces tree, one of the oldest living species on Earth, rises from the forest floor like a pillar of time. Some of these trees are over 3,000 years old. Their trunks are thick, their bark is weathered, and their silence speaks of centuries passed beneath sun, wind, and rain. This forest is not loud. It does not demand attention. It hums with quiet life, birds hidden in the canopy, deer moving softly among the shadows, and waterfalls that fall gently over polished stone. Nature here is slow, untouched, and deeply alive. The landscapes shift from green hills to snowy peaks, from calm lagoons to fast-moving streams. In the embrace of the Patagonian Andes, where forests grow thick and lakes lie still beneath the sky, there is a town that feels like a hidden postcard, Villa La Angostura. This mountain village rests quietly on the shores of Lake Nahuel Huapi, surrounded by ancient trees, snowy peaks, and air so clean it feels untouched. The streets are lined with wooden cabins and stone paths, blending gently into the forest. There is no rush here, just peace and the quiet rhythm of nature all around. Known as the Garden of Patagonia, Villa La Angostura blooms with wild beauty. In spring and summer, the hills come alive with flowers. In winter, snow blankets the rooftops, and the town transforms into a cozy retreat beneath the white silence of the mountains. Just beyond the town lies Los Arayanes National Park, a forest unlike any other. The Arayanes trees grow tall and cinnamon-colored, their smooth trunks glowing orange in the light. Some are hundreds of years old. Walking through them feels like entering a living fairy tale. The waters of the lake are deep and clear. Reflections of mountains drift across the surface. Winding through the heart of northern Patagonia, where the mountains roll like waves and the forests breathe in silence, stretches one of the most beautiful roads in all of Argentina, the Carretera de los Siete Lagos, or the Route of the Seven Lakes. This journey is not just about reaching a destination, it is about movement through wonder. Over 100 kilometers of winding road connect the towns of San Martín de los Andes and Villa La Angostura, passing through some of the most breathtaking landscapes in the country. The road curves gently between snow-dusted peaks and dense forests of lenga and coihu trees. Each turn opens to another lake, each one clear and still, each one different. Lake Laca, Lake Maconico, Lake Falconer, Lake Villarino. Lake Escondido, Lake Correntoso, Lake Espejo. The water mirrors the sky, and the silence is only broken by wind and bird call. This is a place of changing light. In the early morning, mist floats above the lakes like a dream. By afternoon, the sun dances on the surface of the water, and the air smells of pine, earth, and freedom. In autumn, the forest glows with gold and amber. Tucked beside the calm waters of Lake Lacar, and framed by the soft rise of forested mountains, San Martín de los Andes feels like a place where time pauses, a town shaped by nature, silence, and simplicity. This small Patagonian village rests quietly at the end of the Seven Lakes route, cradled by the beauty of Lanín National Park. It is a place where wooden houses sit under tall trees, where every street seems to lead to water, and where the sounds of the wind and birdsong are never far away. The lake lies at the heart of it all, still, deep, and always changing with the light. On its shores, fishermen cast lines into the glassy surface, and kayaks slip between shadows. In the early morning, mist drifts low over the water, and the town wakes slowly under a soft sky. Surrounding the lake, the forest runs thick with lenga, coihua, and cypress trees. Trails climb gently into the hills, leading to viewpoints, waterfalls, and quiet places where the world narrows to nothing but breath and breeze. In autumn, the leaves burn gold. In winter, the snow softens every edge. The rhythm of life here is unhurried. Locals move with quiet purpose. Stretching wide beneath the shadow of the Patagonian Andes, where peaks rise like ancient sentinels and forests dip their roots into clear blue water, lies Nahuel Huapi Lake, a vast and silent mirror held gently in the hands of the land. This lake is one of the largest in Argentina, a glacial body that covers hundreds of square kilometers, winding through valleys, fjords, and forested shores. Its surface, often still as glass, reflects the sky in every shade, from deep sapphire to pale silver, always changing, always calm. Surrounding the lake is Nahuel Huapi National Park, Argentina's oldest protected area, where nature is both wild and untouched. The shores are lined with ancient forests of cypress and coihue, and snow-capped mountains rise steeply behind. On quiet days, the only sound is the soft lapping of water against stone, or the distant call of a condor overhead. Islands rest in the middle of the lake like sleeping giants. Among them is Isla Victoria, where thick woods and narrow trails lead through silence and shadow. Time seems slower here, the world more distant. The lake is not just scenery, it is life. Small boats glide across the surface. In the southern reaches of Patagonia, where wind sweeps across open plains and ice meets the edge of sky, lies a lake of immense stillness and power, Lago Argentino. It is the largest lake in Argentina, a vast inland sea carved by glaciers over thousands of years. Its waters are a surreal shade of blue, milky, luminous and cold, colored by the fine rock flour carried down from the Andes. The surface moves slowly, heavy with silence, reflecting peaks wrapped in snow and clouds. The lake is a gateway to some of the most extraordinary natural wonders in South America. It stretches across the landscape like a sleeping giant, holding within it a network of fjords, bays, and arms that reach deep into the wild. Along its shores, glaciers descend like rivers frozen in motion. Perito Moreno, Uppsala, Spagazzini. Towering walls of ice carve into the lake with a sound like thunder, sending ripples across the stillness. Here, the connection between water and ice is constant, a living conversation between mountain and time. The wind here speaks its own language. It whistles low through the valleys, carrying with it the scent of cold stone and open sky. In the far southwest of Argentina, where the plains begin to rise into jagged peaks, there lies a quiet lake touched by wind and sky.
Lago Roca.
Surrounded by the vast silence of Los Glaciares National Park, this lake feels hidden, peaceful, almost forgotten. It rests quietly at the foot of the Andes, its waters stretching wide and low, mirroring the slow-moving clouds above and the long shadows of distant mountains. Lago Roca is fed by glacial streams, and its color shifts gently with the light from pale gray to deep green to soft blue. Unlike the dramatic, icy arms of nearby Lago Argentino, this lake speaks with a gentler voice. Its shores are lined with open fields, lenga forests, and rocky beaches where wild horses sometimes wander, and birds skim just above the surface. The landscape here is open and unspoiled. In the early morning, mist rolls across the water, and the only sound is the rustle of grass in the breeze. Far from towns and noise, it is a place where the world feels quiet and wide, where time slows down to match the rhythm of the land. Local wildlife moves freely. Guanacos graze near the hills. Eagles soar high above the cliffs. And deep in the stillness, the lake holds its own kind of life, not loud, not fast, but steady and patient. In the northern reaches of Patagonia, where lakes rest beneath volcanoes and ancient forests stretch toward the sky, lies Lanín National Park, a land of quiet strength and timeless beauty. At the heart of the park stands Lanín Volcano, a perfect snow-covered cone that rises above everything, calm and immovable. Its white peak is often wrapped in clouds, a silent guardian watching over valleys, rivers, and the people who have lived here for centuries. This is Mapuche land, rich with memory and meaning. The name Lanín means dead rock in their language, not a sign of stillness, but of sacred power. The volcano is more than a mountain. It is a symbol, a presence, a story passed down through generations. The park itself is a vast mosaic of lakes, forests, and mountains. Lake Huachulafquen, Lake Paimun, Lake Tromen, each one holds its own reflection of sky and peak, its own rhythm of light and shadow. The waters are deep and cold, fed by snowmelt and time. In the forests, araucaria trees rise like green candelabras, tall, strange, and ancient. Some of them have stood here for over 1,000 years. In the dry silence of southern Patagonia, far from cities and time, a message waits in stone, a message left by hands thousands of years ago. Cueva de las Manos, the Cave of the Hands, is a sacred place carved into the walls of the Punturas River Canyon. Here, in the shelter of rock and shadow, the first people of this land painted their presence in color, in gesture, in memory. Dozens of red, black, white, and ochre hands reach out from the stone. Some are small, some large, some stand alone, others are layered, overlapping like voices in a crowd. Most are left hands, created by blowing pigment over the right. A technique simple and powerful, like a whisper frozen in time. But these caves hold more than handprints. Painted scenes show guanacos, hunters, and symbols whose meanings are lost but still felt. They speak of life, of movement, of ritual, of people who lived closely with the land and needed no written language to say we were here. These artworks are over 9,000 years old, older than the pyramids, older than the wheel. In the northwest of Argentina, where the earth burns with color and the wind has shaped stone for millions of years, there lies a canyon of silence, heat, and wonder, Quebrada de las Conchas. This dramatic valley stretches through the Calchaquíes, carved by time and by water. Its name means Gorge of the Shells, a memory of an ancient sea that once covered this land, leaving behind fossils now buried beneath desert dust and sandstone. The landscape here is alive with color, deep reds, rusty oranges, golden yellows. The rocks seem to glow under the high sun, shifting in tone with every hour of light. Wind and erosion have sculpted the cliffs into strange and powerful forms, like frozen waves or the bones of the earth exposed. Among the formations, nature has created shapes that locals have named. The amphitheater, with its high curved walls and perfect echo. The Devil's Throat, narrow and tall, carved like a deep wound in the rock. Each one feels like a secret place, hidden in plain sight, holding stories shaped by silence. The canyon is dry but not dead. Life clings here. Cacti stand tall like sentries. Lizards move quietly across the stone. At the edge of the Rio de la Plata, where wide waters meet restless streets, stands Buenos Aires, a city of rhythm, spirit, and endless contradictions. It is a place where the past leans against the present, where grand European architecture rises beside colorful barrios. Where cobblestone streets echo with history and late-night cafes hum with conversation until dawn. Buenos Aires does not sleep, it breathes. The soul of the city is its people, the porteños, passionate, expressive, always moving, in their voices, in their gestures, in the way they gather in plazas or lean across tables in whispered debates. The city lives through them. This is a place built on memory, on migration, and on music. Tango was born here, not in grand theaters, but in the quiet corners of working-class neighborhoods, a dance of longing, of connection, of resistance. It still flows through the streets, in dance halls and public squares, where couples move as if time has paused. The city is full of contrasts. Avenida 9 de Julio stretches wide with pride, while narrow alleys in San Telmo hold antique markets and the scent of old wood. Elegant cafes serve strong coffee beneath high ceilings, while street grills offer sizzling choripan to anyone passing by. Along the windswept coast of Patagonia, where the Atlantic meets the dry steppe, a quiet rhythm plays out each year. Thousands of tiny footsteps, feathered wings and curious eyes, all gathering at Punta Tombo. This narrow strip of land is home to one of the largest colonies of Magellanic penguins in the world. From spring to summer, over 500,000 of them arrive here, waddling through dust and grass, carving out burrows and building nests among the low shrubs and rocky soil. They come in pairs, year after year, returning to the same spot, the same mate, as if drawn by memory deeper than instinct. Their black and white coats stand out sharply against the pale ground, like shadows come to life. There is something quiet and profound in their movements. They walk with purpose, side by side. They call to one another with soft, gravelly voices. They protect their young with tireless care. Life here is simple, harsh, and deeply connected to the rhythm of nature. The land is dry and open. The sea stretches endlessly to the east. Gulls soar overhead, and guanacos graze in the distance,